What's up, brothers and sisters? It's your brother G World again. And here's a book that I have called Ancient Monuments of the Mississippi Valley by Ephraim G. Squire and Edwin H. Davis. One of the Smithsonian Classics of Anthropology. I'm going to show you the book right here. Now I'm going to turn to this page here to go over here and say, I'm going to read some of this. Alright? I'm going to read from this. I'm just going to read straight out. It's called Ancient Monuments. The ancient monuments of the western United States consist, for the most part, of elevations and embankments of earth and stone, erected with great labor and manifest design. In connection with these, more or less intimate, are found various minor relics of art, consisting of ornaments and implements of many kinds, some of them composed of metal, but most of stone. These remains are spread over a vast extent of country. They are found on the sources of the Allegheny in western part of the state of New York on the east, and extend thence westwardly along the southern shore of Lake Erie and through Michigan and Wisconsin to Iowa and the Nebraska Territory on the west. We have no record of their occurrence above the Great Lakes. Carver mentions some of the shores of Lake Pepin, and some are said to occur near Lake Traverse under the 46th parallel of latitude. Lewis and Clark saw them on the Missouri River, 1,000 miles above its junction with the Mississippi, and they have been observed on the Kansas and the Platte. And on the other remote western rivers, they are found all over the intermediate country, and spread over the valley of the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico. They line the shores of the Gulf from Texas to Florida and extend in diminished numbers into South Carolina. They occur in great numbers in Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, Missouri, Arkansas, Kentucky, Tennessee, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, and Texas. They are found in less numbers in the western portions of New York, Pennsylvania, Virginia, and North and South Carolina. Also in Michigan, Iowa, and in the Mexican territory beyond the Rio Grande do Norte. In short, they occupy the entire basin of the Mississippi and its tributaries, as also the fertile plains along the Gulf. It is a fact that recently made known that there are an abundance of small mounds or tumuli in the territories of Oregon. We are not informed, however, whether there are any enclosures or other works of like character with those usually accompanying the mounds of Mississippi Valley, nor whether the mounds of Oregon are generally disseminated over that territory. That they are of frequent occurrence upon the Gila in California, and also upon the tributaries of the Colorado of the West. It is also a fact but recently ascertained. Whether these mounds possess features identifying them with those of the Mississippi Valley or indicating a common origin remains to be decided. It is not to be understood that these works are dispersed equally over the area above indicated. They are mainly confined to the valleys of the rivers and large streams, and seldom occur very far back from them. Occasional works are found in the hill or broken country, but they are not frequent, and are always small in size. Although possessing throughout certain general points of resemblance, going to establish a kindred origin, these works, nevertheless, resolve themselves into grand geographical divisions, which present, in many respects, striking contrasts, yet so generally merge into each other, that it is impossible to determine where one series terminates and the other begins. In the region bordering the upper lakes, to a certain extent in Michigan, Iowa, and Missouri, but particularly Wisconsin, we find a succession of remains, entirely singular in their forms, presenting but slight analogy to any others of which we have an account. in any portion of the globe. The larger proportion of these are structures of earth, bearing the forms of beasts, birds, reptiles, and even men. They are frequently of gigantic dimensions, constituting huge basal relievos upon the face of the country. They are very numerous, and in most cases occur in long and apparently dependent ranges. In connections with them are found many conical mounds and occasional short lines of embankment, in rare instances forming enclosures. These animal effigies are mainly confined to Wisconsin and extend across the territory from Fond du Lac, in a southwestern direction, ascending the Fox River and following the general course of Rock and Wisconsin rivers to Mississippi. They may be much more extensively disseminated, but it is here only that they have been observed in considerable numbers. In Michigan, as also in Iowa and Missouri, similar elevations of more or less regular outline are said to occur. All right, we'll go even further down. All right, let me see. I keep reading this. They are represented as dispersed in ranges like the buildings of a modern city, and covering sometimes an area of many acres. Further to the southward, in the region watered by Ohio and its tributaries, we find ancient works of greater magnitude and more manifest design. Among them are a few animal-shaped structures, but they seem to have been erected on different principles and for a different purpose from those just noticed. Here we find numberless mounds, most of them conical, but many pyramidal in form, and often of great dimensions. The pyramidal structures are always truncated, sometimes terraced, and generally have graded accents to their summits. They bear a close resemblance to the teocalas of Mexico, and the known uses of the latter are suggestive of the probable purposes to which they were applied. Accompany these, and in some instances sustaining in intimate relations to them, and numerous enclosures of earth and stone, frequently of vast size, and often of regular outline. These are by far the most imposing class of our aboriginal remains, and impress as most sensibly with the numbers and power of the people who built them. The purpose of many of these are quite obvious, and investigation has served to settle pretty clearly the character of most of the other words occurring in connection with them. Proceeding still further southwards, we find in the states bordering on the Gulf of Mexico, the mounds increasing in size and regularity of form, if not in numbers. Conical mounds become comparatively rare, and the teocalas shaped structures become larger and more numerous, and assume certain dependencies in respect to each other not before observed. The enclosures on the other side diminish in size and numbers, and lose many of the characteristic features of those of a higher latitude, though still sustaining towards them a strong general resemblance. Here, for the first time, we find traces of bricks and mounds and in the walls of the enclosures. I'm going to stop right there for that one. I'm going to read down here. Right here it says, not far from 100 enclosures of various sizes and 500 mounds are found in Ross County, Ohio. The number of tumota in the state may be safely estimated at 10,000, and the number of enclosures at 1,000 or 1,500. Many of them are small, but cannot be omitted in the enumeration. They are scarcely less numerous on the Kinhoas in Virginia than on the line of the Scioto and the Miamis, and are abundant on the White River and the Wabash, as also upon the Kentucky, Cumberland, Tennessee, and the numerous other tributaries of the Ohio and Mississippi. Nor is their magnitude less a matter of remark than a great number. Lines of embankment, varying in height from 5 to 30 feet, and enclosing areas from 1 to 50 acres are common, while enclosures of 1 or 200 acres area are far from infrequent. Okay, I'm gonna go even further with this. I'm gonna continue to read right here. All right, I want you to really pick up on this. See, the alluvial terraces, or the river bottoms, as they are popularly termed, were the favorite sites of the builders. I repeat, the alluvial terraces, or the river bottoms, as they are popularly termed, were the favorite sites of the builders. The principal monuments are found where these bottoms are most extended and where the soil is most fertile and easy of cultivation. At the junction of streams, where the valleys are usually broadest and most favorable for their erection, some of the largest, most singular remains are found. The works of the Marietta at the junction of the Muskingum with the Ohio at the mouth of Grave Creek and at Portsmouth, the mouth of Skiatu, and the mouth of the Great Miami are instances in point. Occasional works are found on hilltops overlooking the valleys or at the little distances from them, but they are manifestly, in most instances, works of defense or last resort, or in some way connected with warlike purposes. And it is worthy of remark that the sites selected for settlement, towns, and cities by the invading Europeans are often those which were the special favorites of the mound builders and the seats of their heaviest population. Marietta, New York, Newark, Portsmouth, Chillicothe, Circleville, and Cincinnati in Ohio, Frankfort in Kentucky, St. Louis in Missouri may be mentioned in confirmation of this remark. The centers of population are now where they were at the period where the mysterious race of Mounds flourished. The aboriginal monuments of the Mississippi Valley, the general character which has been briefly and imperfectly indicated, fall within two general divisions, namely constructions of earth or stone. Now I want to stop right there. Like I said before, a large number of these mounds, or most of these mounds, were built by small streams, lakes, or large bodies of water, where they was able to travel. They travel, like I said before, they use the lakes and the rivers to travel back and forth. And in the tributaries of these various different lakes, so you have the Ohio, like I said, the Mississippi, the Tennessee, the Illinois, the Colorado, various other different lakes that existed. They used boats to travel, and they built cities right off those lakes, those waterways. That's why I emphasize our ancestors had ships, not only little papyrus or reef building boats. They had wooden ships to travel within the different streams and lakes and rivers within North America. And they, like I just said, building great cities right off those lakes, building large cities and monuments right off those lakes. They knew they had the knowledge of navigation and movement. And we have to understand they weren't landlocked, just stuck in the desert over in Africa. Our brothers and sisters, whether here in the Americas, over in Africa, where they had the various different Great Lakes, over in the Pacific, our people always had a traveling boat culture, a boat building or traveling by boat navigational culture with sails, and we knew the wind currents. We traveled not only within the Americas, and we used the various different river streams, but we travel globally in boats. This is what I want to really, really hammer on. I always hit and talk about Pan-Africanism because it's stuck, to me personally, on limited knowledge of our true history. We must move forward, and we must continue to read, and we must continue to seek knowledge and information about who we truly are and what our ancestors did. What did they do to build these civilizations? How did they go about doing it? What type of travel, what type of boats did they travel in? Did they travel in boats? Which they did. But we have to understand that the boats that we came in, we originally came over here, or we were originally over here in boats, and we traveled on boats. We didn't come over here on boats on the bottom of a boat unchanged initially. That's a lie. And I'm going to continue to bang on this issue, man. This is something we really need to understand. So, I try to get this stuff done fast. So, I may just chop up a little bit, but I want to emphasize that. I really want to emphasize it because we have to understand that we have a rich, powerful culture here in America. We don't have to go abroad to visit some pyramids in Africa and say that that's why our civilization, that's why our culture is, when our culture is here in America, man. This is ours. I'm going to continue to bang on that. And here's the book that I was just reading from. Ancient Monuments of the Mississippi Valley. All right? This is the book by Squire and Davis. Ancient Monuments of the Mississippi Valley. And look at it. You take a good look at the book. Look at the little city that they have there. And look at the river stream right there. Look at the mounds right over there. The river stream. You notice that the mounds are not far from waterways. So the city or near the water. They go, travel, they do their fishing, they do their trading. They use the sea as an ancient highway, the river streams as an ancient highway. Some of the river streams were like little streams, but they did their streams, they did their movement or travel by boats. And there's also, I have something, a book dealing with the, national parks or national monuments. Man, a lot of that stuff was, which a lot of these racists, anthropologists, or geologists say there's natural geological formation. A lot of stuff you can tell was carved in, man. These brothers and sisters knew how to carve into rock and into stone, man. So they weren't no simple-minded people. This is why our history has been really hijacked and has been hidden from us. So this is something, but check this book out. Ancient Monuments of the Mississippi Valley by Squire and Davis. Ephraim Squire and Edwin Davis, by the Smithsonian. The Smithsonian, them bastards been everywhere, boy. lying about our history and pimping our history, but this is a good book. Like I said, I have my academic books, and I can remember, some Negro coming over here trying to say that we all just African, even if individuals been out of Africa for over 230,000 years, they just African. It made no damn sense. But that's the mindset you have when people who have been indoctrinated with a lie. But this is a good book, Ancient Monuments of the Mississippi. All right, that I just read out of. All right, there's more to this book, but this is an exceptional book. Our history is all in this stuff, man. Look at the mounds over there. Our history is all in these books, man. And these fools know who we are. We are the true Indians. We are the indigenous people of this land. This is our land. Don't be afraid to really learn your history, man. This is all in. Don't listen to some of these internet Negroes just doing videos on Central Africa and West Africa say we came there. That's a lie. Most so-called black Americans are descended of the aboriginal black people, the true Indians here in America. And then you have many black Europeans who were here too, who came over here. That's who we're from. That's who we are. And if many Negroes have a problem with us claiming that, that's on them. Let them continue to go to Gory Island and believe them little stories. Our people are already here. Peace and love, brothers and sisters. This is another source. I wonder if I can't find it right now, but I got a book about the Ohio Valley Mounds. I have so many books of mound builders, but I'm going to give you the information so you can get. This book was written back in 1800s, but it's been republished. All right, it was written back in, I want to say, like 1878. 1 second. It was written back in. This book was written back in 1848. So this book originally came out in 1848. All right. So this is a good book to get, man. All right, brothers and sisters. Peace and love. I love you. I'm going to give you some more information, some more books, some more sources, so you can do your own independent resource. And don't let nobody just tell you that you come from the bottom of the ship from Africa. That is a goddamn lie. There's brothers and sisters from Africa who sailed over here. It's us who sailed over there. It was always, our people always selling, trading, and basically, and we were warring with amongst each other. But we was always traveling around the world. We weren't just situated. Like I'm going to continue to repeat this. We weren't just landlocked